I hope everybody is enjoying this small break from the significant severe weather because it is coming back with a vengeance. We have new data in this afternoon, but let's first look at our high temperatures this afternoon because heat is building in across the central and southern plains and down here near the Gulf Coast as well. A lot of areas into the upper 80s, if not low to mid 90s. So definitely sweating it out across the southern U.S., even rightfully so. Temperatures near 80 up here into the north, the Twin Cities region, near Chicago and St. Louis as well. So get out there and enjoy the nice weather while we have it with plenty of sunshine in parts of the Great Lakes and the Midwest. But we are keeping tabs on a significant severe weather event likely to unfold later this evening and especially overnight. We still have that enhanced risk of severe storms across east central Nebraska and western Iowa. This will be a wind maker up here, but all across the plains from south to North Dakota all the way down into Texas, southern Arkansas, even into portions of Louisiana. We could be seeing some severe weather as we go through tonight. So make sure here that you are subscribed to my channel as we'll have a new weather forecast update with new data again tomorrow morning right at your fingertips, folks. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you give it a like down below. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. I'll answer those after the video. Let's look at the probabilities here. The biggest threat these storms will pose initially will be very big hail. So from the Dakotas all the way south through Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas, all the way down to central Texas here into the Austin region, perhaps we could be seeing some pretty big hail over 2 inches in diameter there, and a tornado threat here. So initially those storms will be more discrete, semi-discrete, possibly posing a hail, but also a tornado threat, especially from Nebraska, western Iowa down through Kansas, Oklahoma, and into Texas here in those green and especially brown shaded colors. But as those storms grow upscale into a big line or a squall line of storms, we could start to see hurricane force winds over 75 miles per hour up into east central Nebraska and western Iowa as we go through the Des Moines area and into Omaha, even Lincoln, Nebraska overnight tonight. So let's play this out for you this evening. Notice we have isolated, very discrete supercells developing down here into parts of Kansas, Oklahoma, and North Texas. This isn't a done deal. The cap has to break for this to happen. Further north, we have a lot more lift. We have the low pressure system in proximity. We have a lot more convergence up here. So I think a widespread area or corridor of severe weather will be possible into the Dakotas and into portions of Nebraska. That could actually lead to a bow echo. That's that backward C shape. And if you see this on radar, that would mean some very strong winds pushing the rain forward here early Friday morning. This is overnight, folks. This is 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, rumbling through Lincoln, Nebraska, Omaha, and then racing towards the Des Moines metro area through Iowa. As we go into Friday, we have a large slight risk. The Storm Prediction Center's 12:30 afternoon update today actually expanded this slight risk a little bit in coverage to include more Wisconsin and parts of southwestern lower Michigan. So from Madison, Milwaukee, southward here through the Chicago area, St. Louis, down here into Memphis, Little Rock, all the way to Dallas, Fort Worth, have to be watching out for some severe weather on Friday, mainly for wind, 60, 70 mile per hour wind, some quarter-size hail, although down here into the Arklatex region in southeastern Oklahoma, near Dallas, Fort Worth, into portions there of Texarkana, we may be talking over 2-inch diameter hailstones there with stronger instability and up near the warm front as well. We call this a mesoscale convective complex, or a mesoscale convective vortex as well. As it rolls through Iowa early morning, it's going to lead to a lot more enhanced wind shear across southern Wisconsin and far northern Illinois, northeast Iowa. They have actually added in a 5% probability up near the Illinois, Wisconsin, and Iowa state line, that tri-state area, for the potential for tornadoes, but all along the cold front here, all the way up here into Madison, even the Oshkosh area there in Wisconsin, all the way southward here, almost to Waco, we have the tornado threat on Friday. So there's that complex, that mesoscale convective vortex, the mesoscale convective complex, whatever you want to call it, across Wisconsin into Iowa there Friday morning. That will scoot eastward. We'll start to see it lose its luster a little bit Friday afternoon, but still reinvigorating some storms with outflow boundaries across this region. And then as we go into Friday evening, that outflow boundary, as it drops south through Missouri, through the Ozarks, that will fire off new storms and isolated supercells with big hail, big wind, and tornadoes tornado threat down into the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Texarkana, even Little Rock as we go into tomorrow evening. And then that will have a tendency to weaken in intensity and coverage as we go into early Saturday morning. So here's the maximum helicity tracks through your Saturday morning. You can see where the more intense storms will be. The brighter the color, the more intense the storms will be. So through Nebraska and western Iowa, that's going to be more for your 75 mile per hour wind variety there. Maybe some hail over here into southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, and a tornado threat. And then more hail and wind threat with an isolated tornado further south where you see that it's helicity tracks across Missouri, Arkansas, southeastern Oklahoma, and into East Texas there. Now going into Memorial Day weekend, a big weekend ahead. You have any outdoor plans that you want to attend or anything to do outdoors? Here are your temperatures for Saturday, May 25th. You can see a lot of heat building across the south central U.S., a little bit cooler up to the north. As we go into Sunday, you can see a lot of heat continuing to build across the south, cooler to the north. That battleground between the heat and those cooler temperatures will lead to a more substantial severe weather, if not tornado outbreak through this weekend. We'll get to that in a moment, but here's Memorial Day. Here's your temperatures. Again, more heat to the south, cooler weather to the north. We'll be watching that over here to the east as we have a low pressure system. Let's talk about that. So we have a trough across the west here, bringing a lot of cooler temperatures. We have a ridge across the south near the Gulf Coast, bringing a lot of warmer temperatures. The clash in the air masses going to meet up here into Kansas, Oklahoma, and North Texas early this weekend on Saturday. That trough out west will eject toward the Midwest, Great Lakes as we go into Sunday, and you can see the battle of the air masses near the Ohio River vicinity as we go into Sunday. So let's start here on Saturday. You can see an enhanced risk still in place, 3 out of 5 for portions of southern and southeastern Kansas, much of Oklahoma here, including the Oklahoma City area, Tulsa, and then getting down toward the northern suburbs of the Dallas-Fort Worth area and North Texas with a broad marginal and slight risk surrounding that. I do think the upgrade could be to a moderate risk as we do get closer to Saturday. Now moving into Sunday as that trough ejects further east, a large area in yellow here. This is a level 2 out of 5 slight risk. It includes Chicago and Indianapolis, Cincinnati, all the way down here into Tupelo, into Florence and Huntsville, Alabama, into portions of Little Rock, maybe even Springfield, Missouri as well. Then you see this orange shaded color. That's a level 3 out of 5 enhanced risk for portions there of, southern Indiana near Evansville, southern Illinois, Carbondale, Mount Vernon, into central and western Kentucky, Bowling Green over here toward Paducah, Tennessee, Nashville, into the Jackson, Tennessee area, maybe just north out of the city of Memphis, Jonesboro, Arkansas, Cape Girardeau, Missouri, into the foothills region of Missouri there. You get it. A lot of areas impacted here on Sunday. Then going into Memorial Day itself, right now, no highlighted areas for severe weather, but I wouldn't be surprised if a marginal or slight risk got added over here toward the mid-Atlantic or northeast as that system pushes eastward. Let's talk about Saturday and the setups here in more fine detail as new data has come in. You can see dew point temperatures advecting from the Gulf of Mexico all the way up along and south of a warm front that'll be draped across Kansas and Missouri there. Dew points are going to be into the middle and upper 70s. This is air you can wear. You walk right outside, you can feel it, and that is exactly what you're going to feel as this instability. Look at the surface-based cape. This is your thunderstorm fuel, and look at that. Off the charts almost. I mean, 5,000 closing in on 6,000 joules per kilogram there into Oklahoma, North Texas, even southeastern Kansas, over 4,000 joules per kilogram there. And over top of that, we in the mid-levels of the atmosphere, we're going to have a speed max here, okay? So we're going to have winds screaming in out of the west-southwest over top of that energy of around, 80 knots or so. So we're going to see that and a low-level jet as well. So a lot of things coming together here for an outbreak of severe weather and tornadoes. Let's look at what you call a significant tornado parameter, and this puts all of the wind shear, moisture, and energy together into one parameter space. You can see Saturday afternoon, you can see a lot of values pretty elevated here near the Red River vicinity, mainly for North Texas and southeastern Oklahoma, peaking around 7s out of 10s. Now, don't get me wrong, that is very respectable, but watch this as we go into Saturday evening. The low-level jet comes to life, and look at that, 23 out of 10 here on the scale across Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Wichita, down here into Wichita Falls, Texas, the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So this is going to be a potentially volatile environment for severe weather and tornadoes. Going into Saturday afternoon, the thing is here, there's a little caveat. Even with all these ingredients in place, there's always a caveat down here. We got drought ongoing in New Mexico and West Texas. That drought is called an elevated mix layer, and what this does is put a cap on the atmosphere. We have to break that cap to see some thunderstorms, and if we do, isolated supercells will be capable of everything from tornadoes and strong tornadoes to large and very large hail, damaging winds that could be over 75 miles an hour with the instability we have. And notice the coverage here isn't really particularly like widespread. So we could have a few storms, we could have a lot of storms. We don't know really the coverage yet because that cap has to break in order to do that. We'll have to wait and see as we get closer to Saturday, but you get the idea. Storms, if they do evolve in that environment, will be very dangerous to say the least. Now, as we go into Sunday, this is going to be a wide open warm sector across the eastern U.S. Dew points all the way up into the 70s, into the Chicagoland area, Grand Rapids, Michigan. Again, air you can wear. You can feel the humidity outdoors. That's all that energy. The thunderstorm fuel is going to be there. And look at that. You have that speed max coming in across the Midwest, across portions of the Ohio Valley there, and that is actually joining forces with the low-level jet. That's over 60 knots, folks, here, approaching 70 knots across the Chicagoland area, southward toward Louisville into Paducah. That is plenty of turning of the winds with height, and that's why the significant tornado parameter space is actually high across northern and even eastern Illinois, up near the warm frontal boundary. We'll definitely have to watch that on Sunday. So Sunday afternoon, kind of potentially a messy mode of storms. We could have supercells, line segments, Boeing segments, a lot of different storm modes here, multi-cell clusters, a lot of fancy terms for just a lot of storms out there. And then as we go into Sunday evening, maybe upscale growth into a line or a Boeing line of storms with some very strong winds as we go into Sunday evening across the Ohio and Tennessee River Valley. That will have a tendency to drop southeast. And again, like I said, Memorial Day, so far, no highlighted zones for severe weather. I do anticipate probably a marginal or slight risk zone across the mid-Atlantic and Northeast as we get closer because the low pressure itself, 991 millibars, will be up here into southeastern Canada, but the cold frontal boundary will be moving through those areas, and I guarantee you there's going to be energy over there for some severe weather. It probably won't be as significant as Saturday and Sunday, but there will be some energy for maybe a marginal or slight risk day on Memorial Day. Here's your rainfall totals between now and Monday, Memorial Day, May 27th. A lot of rain across the Midwest, Chicago, Milwaukee, Madison, back here to Rockford, Illinois, and the Quad Cities. Could be seeing over 3 inches worth of rain through Memorial Day. Another swath from the Ohio, Tennessee River Valley back toward Texas, toward the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Could be seeing around 1 to 3 inches of rain through that time frame. So a lot of rain coming with several rounds of showers and storms. A pattern change is in the offing as we go into the middle part of next week from Wednesday, May 29th, and to end the month and start the first couple of days of June, going through the first weekend of June, Saturday, June 1st and Sunday, June 2nd. Trough out east, bringing cooler temperature anomalies. A ridge out west will begin to build across portions of the Rockies and the plains, but we'll start to see a little bit of some, active weather begin to build as we get into the first few days of June there. That could lead to some severe weather in the central and southern plains if all the parameters are there with moisture, instability, and stuff like that. That won't be known until we do get closer, but drier out west, drier out east. So at least we'll have a little break from the significant severe weather towards the middle and end of next week and the first weekend of June. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to my channel to get the latest weather information right at your fingertips. A new weather forecast video will be posted tomorrow on your Friday, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Also, be sure to press the like button down below to distribute all of this information to more and more people. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. I'll get to those later on today, and I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their Thursday out there.